guys, welcome back to Miss Harlow's Quarantine Reads, where I talk to you about what I've been reading while we're on extended leave. Today's quarantine read is Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. Tunnel of Bones is a sequel to a book called City of Ghosts. It's about a girl named Cassidy Blake. She's 11 years old, and she had a near-death experience. Ever since she almost died, she's able to cross over the veil and visit the realm of ghosts. She starts traveling the world with her parents, who are on a television show about haunted places, even though neither of her parents know of her abilities. And they go to Edinburgh, Scotland in the first book. During that book, Cassidy finds out that she has the ability to help these ghosts move on to the next stage of their afterlife and to get them to stop haunting places. So in the second book, we go to Paris. And we go to Paris because I don't know if you know about the catacombs of Paris. They're like the single most terrifying thing I can think of. Reading about the catacombs, watching documentaries about catacombs, literally anything involving the word catacomb makes me stress sweat because I can't. No, not about it. Time to face those fears because let's face it, the catacombs are kind of cool. In the late 1700s, Paris was facing a public health crisis because their cemeteries were overflowing and basically making people sick. So what the government decided to do was, under the cover of darkness, so as not to upset citizens, they exhumed all of their cemeteries, basically, and moved the bones into a site outside of the city, the then vacant Tombe Issoire quarries. So that is about 5 stories down underground. And so what they would do is they would take cartloads of bones and dump them down these wells, where then workers in the quarries would find them and put them up, as you see here on the screen. The remains of about 6 million people are kept in the catacombs, and they were moved there from the late 1700s through the 1860s, at which time it was opened as the Paris Municipal Ossuary, and then became a tourist attraction. Today, it's very much like a heritage site, a museum. You pay to enter, they take you down, and you get a tour of the site. It's very well lit, has electricity. It actually, aside from the fact that it's so far underground, it doesn't look that scary. But it is apparently very cold down there, as well as humid, which, trying to imagine bone humidity, makes me extremely uncomfortable. While her parents are down in the catacombs filming another episode of their show, Cassidy and her best friend, / ghost, Jacob, discover that there is a poltergeist terrorizing Paris, and if they don't figure out a way to get him to move on, people are going to get hurt. Some things this book does well are the plot. I think the plot was really, really good in this one, and Cassidy had to kind of level up her skills to try and figure out how to get this poltergeist to move on. I also really like the dynamic between Cassidy and Jacob. Cassidy's kind of reckless. She'll do whatever it takes to help the ghost, while Jacob is much more cautious and he just wants her to be safe, which I think is a really cute dynamic for them to have. Settings, sense of place, Schwab is really, really good at that. She made me want to go see Edinburgh, and I hadn't really thought of that before. I mean, kind of like, okay, Scotland would be awesome, but it wasn't high on my list. And now I really want to go see Edinburgh because she brought it to life for me. That being said, I've been to Paris, and so I was very excited to see how she described Paris and if it kind of stacked up to my memories. It totally did. She actually helped me remember some things. There were a couple descriptions where I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember smells and tastes, and she's describing foods, and I was like, oh yeah, I know what that is. So she does a really, really good job of anchoring you in the place that her books are set in. Really quick shout out to Reba Burr. She's the narrator of this series. I did listen to these on Audible, and she just really does a wonderful job. She has distinct voices for every single character so that no matter where you're at in the book, you know who's talking. So that's not easy to do, and especially she's juggling a lot of accents as they're traveling through Europe in this series, and she does a really wonderful job. So just quick shout out to that because narrators make or break audiobooks, and she definitely made this one. Some notes about Victoria Schwab. She writes YA fiction. Both City of Ghosts and Tunnel of Bones are available in our library right now. Tunnel of Bones might be checked out, but point is we own them. And then she has a lot of other YA books that I recently purchased, so next school year they'll be available too. I highly recommend them. I think she's great. She also writes a lot of adult fantasy fiction under the name V.E. Schwab, and some of those books are my all-time favorites. I really, really love her writing. She writes characters that you root for, no matter who they are. Half the time I'm rooting for her villains because I love them so much. She makes me love them. And so I think that's just really impressive to get that much emotion into her characters that you're connected to them. So she's great. I'll recommend her a lot in the coming years as we own more and more of her books because I want everyone to read her. I think she's fantastic. She's also a fantastic lady, so I'd recommend learning more about her if you're interested. She's very cool. So yeah, I think that's all I've got for you guys today. Please hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you're reading, or just say hi. I'd love to hear from you. And we'll talk soon when I'm back with another quarantine read.